trauma or minimum penetration in the lamina.
Hello? Can you hear us?
Yes, madam, you are audible.
Okay, we'll be presenting now the second case.
Yes, please go ahead, madam.
So this is a 33-year-old male patient with history of 4 to 6 months of change in voice associated with cough on feeding. He did not have any significant preceding history of fever, upper respiratory infection, or COVID. On examination, he had a breathy voice, and CT scan was done for evaluation of his initial complaint, some outside of head, neck, and upper chest, and that came normal. His preoperative video laryngoscopy is shown now. Next slide, please. Next slide. So this is his preoperative video laryngoscopy. You have immobile left vocal cord with incomplete glottis configuration upon adduction. So he is diagnosed with unilateral vocal cord palsy in the left side, and the plan is augmentation with autologous fat, medialization laryngoplasty for his aspiration. So we'll be starting by harvesting the fat. So usually we do this procedure under local anesthesia, but because of current conference setup, we are doing it under general anesthesia. The patient's already sedated and under GA. So we'll start with the incision.
Hello.
Yeah, audible.
Hello?
You're audible.
Yeah. Now we'll start with the excision and collection of the fat tissue. So basically, the fat globules, which we are going to use to make a paste and put it into the vocal cord. Now, this fat augmentation actually I have started quite a long back, maybe 15 years back, for method of choice for augmentation in unilateral vocal cord palsy, as well as grade 1, grade 2 cases of sulcus vocalis. Now, there are always questions regarding longevity of the fat. So in my experience, as well as all the papers we have published with follow-up of our patients for more than 3 to 5 years time, that's once you inject, the fat remains there permanently. So what we tell to the patient, it will remain for 3 to 5 years, and most likely scenario would be re-injection after 5 years, but not more than that. But in my experience, once you inject fat, there is effect which remains for maybe 10-15 years or more. There are two reasons for this. One is the tissue which remains in the paralyzed vocal cord, and the other thing is compensation by the opposite vocal cord. Once you inject the fat, it helps early compensation and good glottic closure, and then good phonation. Now, I have tried absolutely all methods to harvest the fat, but this seems to be working well, in which we just take out the fat globules, use our mortar and chisel hammer, and make a paste. I have designed a needle, which I am going to show you, to inject this fat into the paralyzed vocal cord. In our practice, what we do is take out the fat under local anesthesia, then induce the patient and do the fat augmentation without any tube. Where we inject anterior to the vocal process and with only one single prick, which I am going to show you. We can use complementary PRP, that is protein rich plasma, to allow regrowth of the cells with
Tissue season?
augmentation. So if we are using it in cases of sulcus vocalis, in which there is loss of lamina propria, then maybe to try for soft tissue regeneration, we can use PRP. Hello? Hello?
Yes, Dr. Sachin.
Yeah. So now you can see we have got a good ample fat for re-injection. We have already taken out or prepared the PRP, plasma rich protein rich plasma. We'll mix it and then inject. Now once the fat is out, tissue is out, then we induce the patient and put in the laryngoscope.
Ask him to shoot the camera.
Meanwhile, my colleagues in
So could you
another-
repeat the solutions which you said?
It is protein rich plasma,
Plasma-rich
protein
protein.
rich plasma, PRP.
PRP.
So it we extract it from the blood sample, blood of the patient. There is a centrifuge which is available, more commonly used by dermatologists and now in some spine surgeons. Basically, it's regeneration of the lamina propria or soft tissue regeneration.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. These are my helping me out are my DNB students and my RCS fellows. So Faryal, she's from Oman, and Dr. Mihir, he is my DNB resident. Dr. Puneet from Hubli is helping me in another OT. And actually, this fat augmentation really works well. There would be another topic or of discussion. Maybe we'll have some lectures, and in that we can discuss more. What's the difference between thyroplasty and fat augmentation? What are the indications for thyroplasty? What are the indications of fat augmentation? But in short, I can tell you, if the phonatory gap is less than 2 millimeters, then fat augmentation would work. If it is more than 2 millimeters, then maybe you will need thyroplasty for the glottic closure. This is the rough outline idea.
Please.
I think this camera out of focus. Okay. I think they have removed ample fat and will put in the scope and arrange.
Manage? You'll manage?
Okay. Let's take the endoscope.
First, pack it and then coagulate. There is a big drop.
So I think it should be good coordination between the anesthetist, laryngologist, the ENT surgeons, and again the pathologist. And you should be quite sure with experience about the pathologist when they say the margins are negative for tumor, then you should believe it with experience. And then you should go in for fat augmentation. So we have done more than 500 cases till now, and now we are quite sure about our results. And we tell the patient, we follow the patients, and of course we take them for any voice surgery like augmentation or excision of the anterior web or some other thyroplasty. Meanwhile, I will show you the needle which I have manufactured with my local manufacturer in Pune. He is also a doctor, Dr. Rairikar. This is a let me go there. This is the needle now with a steelate. Can you just and the gauge is around 16 number. Can you see the just for a minute.
Clip.
Meanwhile, we are about to put in the scope. Yeah, we are back with the picture with the camera. We'll just take the needle. Okay.
Right.
I'll have to find the way out. Again. Okay. No, chest is down. No, chest is down.
I am just being joined by our anesthesia colleague and the moderator for the session, Karan Chawla. He is senior advisor posted at Command Hospital, Lucknow.
Yeah.
He has a few questions to the team anesthesia.
Sure.
Yeah, hi.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. This is Dr. Colonel Vikas Chawla this side. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. What is the question? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, what? There was some question.
I don't think there was any question. The
Okay.
other side is not audible. Yes.
And Dr. Chawla wanted to ask something, but I think he's disconnected right now. So whenever he's in,
Yeah, Dr. Chawla, sir, can you hear us?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
yes.
Please?
Yeah,
Yes,
you
now
can
I
talk
can.
with the ma'am.
Yeah, good afternoon to you all. How are you?
signal.
Yeah, ma'am, you
Hello?
can talk with the sir.
Yeah, can you hear me? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, so I'm the anesthesiologist Command Hospital, and I'm really enjoying the surgeries which are being conducted at your place.
Yes.
Very advanced, very sophisticated, but at the same time,
Uh-huh.
it's a very broad-based question. How do you decide the anesthesia technique in the first place?
Basically, it depends on the type of surgery that they're going to perform and the length of time that it is going to take place. As Dr. Gandhi said that the previous case, which was cordectomy, frozen section, and that fat augmentation, ideally, we would like to place HFJV cannula, that is high frequency jet ventilation. In a minute's time, we'll be showing you our jet ventilator, which we use. So because it takes longer than 45 minutes, we are comfortable using jet ventilator rather than HFNO. High flow nasal oxygen is actually used for patients whom we do vocal cord cysts and vocal cord nodules, which take around not more than 10 minutes. And some patients of subglottic stenosis where we need a faster dilatation or laser opening of the subglottic stenosis, which are very difficult to intubate and for whom we would like to avoid hypoxia. In such patients, we use a high flow nasal oxygen.
That's nice to hear that. Is it possible to use apneic
Yes.
oxygenation in some of the laryngeal procedures still as of date?
Hello?
Do you still use intermittent ventilation, intermittent oxygenation technique still as of today in today's era, or that's over now? Like we used to hold the mask and give it to the ENT surgeon, and then again patient used to desaturate. Is that out now, or still you use intermittent oxygenation technique?
Hello? I could not hear you properly.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can. There was okay. There was a signal disturbance. So these are the two techniques right now we are using for this kind of surgeries.
What about very, very short, ultra short laryngeal procedures of 5 minutes? Do you use intermittent oxygenation technique?
No, we don't. This is not intermittent. Like all those short procedures, like for those procedures, we are using high flow nasal oxygen. It's a very simple technique.
Yeah, I get that.
And in this patient, I will show you once. One sec. Can you please show us the cannula, nasal cannula? No. You need to get the camera from this side. So basically, it just involves a very soft nasal airway, which we use for patients very regularly. And that is connected by a closed circuit to our anesthesia machine, on which we can give you, see, this is the nasal cannula.
Yeah.
Dakho parchu nahi rakha. No, we, parchu nahi need that. Chala rakho. No, parchu need that. Trolley. Then, so this is the soft nasal airway.
Yeah.
We have attached a universal connector to the nasal, correct. So this
I can
is,
see that.
yeah. And then this is the circuit which we are using. Now I will
Okay.
show it on the patient.
Yeah.
Just a minute. This the laryngoscope is coming in a way.
Yeah.
And so,
But I can see the tube. Yeah.
yeah, so this is in the patient's nose, and we have attached our circuit to that. Can you see now?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. And so this is, we have connected it to the anesthesia circuit
Okay.
and to the machine, where we are using more than 12 liters of flow to the patient.
Okay.
If you can see the monitor, anesthesia monitor, the saturation is 99 and
Sure.
heart rate is still maintained.
Okay.
And because we have applied the microlaryngoscope now, there is a momentary increase in patient's blood pressure,
Okay.
which we will again will monitor, and we use something like beta blockers or extra dose of fentanyl to counteract that surge in the blood pressure and heart rate.
Okay, ma'am. How do you know that the CO2 is building up?
Yes, basically, we get tachycardia, hypertension, and if we see, we have conducted a study on almost 100 patients, and all of them we had placed a laryngeal mask airway at the end of the surgery, and where we monitored their end-tidal CO2. So what we observed was at the end of 30 minutes, there was not much increase in the end-tidal CO2. It was around 50 to 60. With a few breaths, we could get the CO2 out. In some patients where we have done it for longer cases also, we have tried, where CO2 builds up to 80 to 90 without having any cardiac dysrhythmias. But unfortunately, so far we have not conducted any studies on patients' surgeries lasting for more than 30 minutes. And we are planning to have such studies done on patients with monitoring of intermittent blood gas monitoring for PCO2. So when we do that, we will come to know. But
Yes.
there are many studies which are published which say that up to 65 minutes is the time where less than 100 PCO2 was observed. So we need to check on those.
Yeah, but this kind of study would probably not get ethical clearance in India.
No, there are already studies which are done on such apneic techniques, which, see, if we keep doing intermittent PCO2 monitoring, that is by intermittent blood gas analysis, we can always intubate these patients during surgery if there is a critical hypercarbia. So, and we can wash out CO2. Since they already have laryngoscope in place, it's very easy to intubate these patients immediately.
Ma'am, what is the level of PaCO2 you're looking at when to intubate the patient?
No, not really, because we just cannot monitor PaCO2 levels. It is the hypoxemia which we are worried about. So far, we're not worried about PaCO2. So what we do is we get alert at the level of say around 94, 95. We keep everything ready for the intubation, but we don't let CO2 oxygen saturation go below 90%.
Ma'am, but beyond 30 minutes, don't you think so that ventilation will become equally important?
After 30 minutes of surgery, it sometimes becomes necessary to ventilate the patient. As we did in the previous patient, it was already 55 minutes. The EtCO2 levels were somewhere around 79, 80, and patient started desaturating. But but we have observed that longer than 30 minutes, patients really don't desaturate if the airway is maintained, but they do develop higher CO2s. And we can, after 30 minutes, if we think that patient is becoming unstable because of the heart rate or blood pressure, we do ventilate these patients after 30 minutes for say around 4 to 5 minutes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the update.
That's it. Thank you.
Once the OPD is over, 14:30 around 50 or so, 2 to 50, ना इसका endoscopy करना है. ये सब चीज नहीं है. That's all.
जैसे यहाँ आते हैं अब मुझे जैसे थोड़ा सा बाहर भी फील बेटर जगह उसको
Anyway, what we'll do, थोड़ा बताओ रोहित, ओपनिंग है ना, around 2:15 or so in the OPD down, being instrument later, I'll take a petty pad with a ADR and put it on the posture with local equipment. अरे ये सामने बैठे हैं
राकेश सर डॉक्टर एमटीडी लक्षण इनका या तो ईमेल आईडी या फोन नंबर डॉक्टर एमटीडी लक्षण
ये वो श्रीलंका
सीवी है सर फॉरवर्ड कर
Hello, Rakesh. Hello. Yeah, please.
Hello, Rakesh sir. Hello. Sir, can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello, anybody is there?
ये ऑस्ट्रेलिया है क्या ऑस्ट्रेलिया कवर मेरे को छोड़
Hello. Sir, they can hear us.
injection laryngoplasty, yes.
Augmentation now, please.
किसी को म्यूट करना किसी को अनम्यूट करना.
Hello.
Yeah, ma'am, just can anyone can respond to us, sir?
उस दिन मेरे पास भी था इसमें है.
Hello, Rakesh sir or anyone else? If you can hear us, please kindly respond.
Yes, we can hear you. We can see the procedure. We can see the video. Off करो. I think मेरा discharge हो गया ये. हाँ.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Sir, can you hear us? Ma'am, can you hear us? Please kindly respond to sir. कोई है नहीं. Yeah, Dr. Vikas, sir. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can, this is Dr. Datta. I can see the injection being done.
Hello.
Yes, Rakesh, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, just kindly respond to us, sir. Actually, no one is responding, so we can't understand. Basically, you able to hear us or not, sir?
Okay, okay. The volume
please.
of the surgeon was a bit too low. I can hear you, but surgeon का आवाज थोड़ा सा low आ रहा है.
तो सर्जन का आवाज मैं बढ़ा देता हूँ, सर. No problem, sir.
Please,
ठीक है.
please, please.
Okay, done.
Hello.
Now, sir, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, done. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Off कर दो.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, yes, Dr.
Sorry.
Gandhi. If you can just
इसी
speak
टाइम
like
करना था.
Then
Sorry.
I'm injecting the fat. Can you see augmentation?
Yes, yes, I can see. I can see the bulge coming up very nicely.
Yeah. So now I can complete. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you have to inject 30% more. So you should cross the midline, and
Okay.
that's fine. Okay.
Okay.
Now I'll just rotate the needle and allow the fat to get organized in the vocal cord, in the length of the vocal cord. Rotate the needle and slowly take it out. Okay.
Okay. So, Dr. Sachin, why is this rotation so important?
Rotation, because just the fat should not come out when you pull out the needle.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So give some time, 1 or 2 minutes, for fat to get organized within the vocal cord, and let's remove. Okay. So I've removed, and we can see now the fat is in situ, in place. Okay. Now, if you remove the scope, you'll see good medialization now. The patient would have good voice. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Now we'll go to the another OT.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, would you think that it would be one of the challenges is to predict the voice, especially because the patient is under anesthesia? Whereas if you would do this under local anesthesia with probably some other filler, that you would be able to test it on the table.
Yeah. The only disadvantage is the commercial fillers is their
Yeah.
expectancy. They usually get absorbed or
Definitely, yeah.
non-functional in 3 months, maximum 6 months time.
Yeah.
If it gets fat, it's going to remain for maybe more than 3 to 5 years. That's the advantage of doing it under local. But yes, you can on
Yeah, yeah,
table, you do it under general.
That's nice. Nice. So I'm sure of people who are old and who are not able to speak properly in presbyophonia, as we call it, have a
Yes,
good option
presbyophonia.
now where they can